Good morning, children. So today I am going to start your chapter 8, that is the Delhi Sultanate. We are going to study about the various sultans, okay, of the Delhi Sultanate. Is it clear? Now, Delhi Sultanate is, you can say, the period where many Muslim rulers have ruled over India. Is it clear? It was having several dynasties, like we were having several dynasties of Delhi Sultanate ruled over India. 4 dynasties: the slave dynasty, then the Khilji dynasty, then we have a Tughlaq dynasty. These dynasties have actually ruled over India. So we are going to study about these dynasties in chapter 8. Okay, now see all of you in the book. By the 10th and 11th century, numerous small kingdoms had emerged in North India because of the absence of powerful central government. So what situation was there in the 10th and 11th century in India? Several small kingdoms were there, and several small kings were ruling over India. So India at that time was not having any strong central government. Okay, and these kingdoms were constantly doing conflict with each other. This lack of political unity was largely responsible for quick victory of Turk, who began their conquest in 11th and 12th century. Okay, due to the weak central government in India in the 10th and 11th century, Turk have started coming over India and capturing over India. They started capturing India in 11th century, and they have almost captured India in the 12th century. However, their empire was established in the 13th century. They started capturing in 11th, they continued in 12th, and they finally captured in 13th century. Is it clear? So the 10th and 11th century in India was actually, the scenario was India was this, that India was actually divided into several smaller kingdoms, and small kings were ruling over India. There was no unity among those kings. The kings were continuously doing conflict with each other. The advantage was taken by Turk, who started arriving India in the 11th century and started expanding their control over India from 11th to 12th, and finally they got success in 13th century to capture their control over India. Is it clear? Then second paragraph, see in your book, page number 73. All of you please open your book, page number 73, the Delhi Sultanate. See the second paragraph. The period between 1206 and 1526, I told you 3 centuries, 11th, 12th and 13th. So the period between 1206 and 1526, when 5 dynasties ruled over India, is known as the period of Delhi Sultanate. So what do you mean by Delhi Sultanate period? What is the meaning of Delhi Sultanate? The period between 1206 and 1526, when 5 dynasties ruled over India, ruled over Delhi. That period is known as the period of Delhi Sultanate. Second paragraph, whole is important. It was so called Delhi Sultanate. Why? Because the rulers of various dynasties ruled from their capital at Delhi, were called the sultans. So it is called as the Delhi Sultanate because the rulers, those who were ruling over Delhi, were called as sultan. That's why this period is known as the period of Delhi Sultanate. The period which is ruled by the sultan. And which period was ruled by the sultan? The period from 1206 to 1526. Is it clear? Now we need to study about the sources of the Delhi Sultanate. We need to study. We have inscription, we have monuments, we have Qutub Minar as one of the important source of information of the Delhi Sultanate. Then these are the important sources of the Delhi Sultanate. Now you see the first source of information, that is inscriptions in your book. Inscriptions are valuable supplement and not the sole source of information on the Delhi Sultanate. The inscriptions are found on coins, monuments, milestones and tombstones. So where we find the inscriptions? We find the inscriptions on coins, on monuments, on milestones, and on tombstones. Underline these lines in the book under the inscription. Then some of the inscriptions in Sanskrit, some in Arabic, and some in both the languages. Is it clear? So all the inscriptions of the period which we got, most of the inscriptions are either inscribed in Sanskrit or are inscribed in Arabic language. Then the first coin issued by Muhammad Bakhtiyar Khilji is one of the best source of information. So underline this line in the book. The first coin issued by Muhammad Bakhtiyar Khilji bears both Arabic and Sanskrit inscription. The first coin. In that coin itself, it is inscribed in Sanskrit as well as in Arabic. Similarly, the famous traveler Ibn Battuta noticed a commemorative inscription in the Jama Masjid in Delhi, which is now despaired. Now it is not there. Some of the inscriptions have been seen by Ibn Battuta. He has seen some of the inscriptions, which is now not there. We have Jama Masjid right now, but in the walls, those are not inscribed. Those has totally vanished. Is it clear? So this is about your inscriptions. Inscriptions are one of the most valuable source of information of the Delhi Sultanate. Inscriptions are found in coins, in monuments, in milestones, in tombstones. The first coin issued by Muhammad Bakhtiyar Khilji was actually inscribed in Sanskrit and in Arabic. And second is the famous traveler, that is Ibn Battuta. He noticed the things which are inscribed in Jama Masjid, and he wrote a book which became the source of information. But those things are not there in Jama Masjid. Then second source of information is monuments. Under monuments, the most important monument which became the most important source of the Delhi Sultanate was Qutub Minar. Is it clear? Now Qutub Minar you see in the book, all of you, it was started by Qutubuddin Aibak. Alright, who started constructing this Qutub Minar? Qutubuddin Aibak, okay, and was dedicated to Sufi saint Qutubuddin Bakhtiyar Kaki. Alright, so Qutub Minar was started constructing. Who laid the foundation of Qutub Minar? It is Qutubuddin Aibak. And why he started constructing Qutub Minar? Because he wanted to dedicate it to Sufi saint Qutubuddin Bakhtiyar Kaki, who was greatly venerated by the people of Delhi. The structure was completed by Iltutmish. Okay, the structure was started by Qutubuddin Aibak, and the structure of Qutub Minar was completed by Iltutmish. Okay, so two people have the credit of constructing Qutub Minar. Started by Qutubuddin Aibak and completed by Iltutmish. On whose it is dedicated to whom? It is dedicated to Sufi saint Qutubuddin Bakhtiyar Kaki. Then what are the features now? See the features. Its special features are, when originally completed, it rose to a height of 71.4 meter with 4 storage. What is its height when it was completed? 71.4 meter. Having how many storage? 4 storage. Then inside 13, the tower was damaged by lightning in 1369. Okay, what happened? The tower got damaged by the lightning. In which year? 1369. And in the course of repair and reveneration, Firoz Shah Tughlaq further raised its height. The other person who raised its height was Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Second point, it has 5 storage. Third point, the entrance is through the doorway on the northern side. Fourth point, the minar is circular tower that you see. It is circular tower about 13.8 meter diameter. Okay. Then red stone, red sandstone, marble, grey quartzites were used in construction of Qutub Minar. Then next point, each of the tower has a projecting balcony. In every tower there is a balcony. And last one, verses of Holy Quran and some are actually written in the Qutub Minar. Alright, so Qutub Minar is one of the great monumental source of information that is available with us. Is it clear? So now we have completed about the Delhi Sultanate introduction, and we have completed the source of information of the Delhi Sultanate. Is it clear? Today, let me start the first dynasty of the Delhi Sultanate, that is the slave dynasty. Is it clear? The first dynasty. But you see under the slave dynasty, first paragraph, there were 5 successive ruling dynasties, namely the slave, the Khilji, the Tughlaq, the Sayyid and Lodi. These were the 5 dynasties which ruled over the Delhi Sultanate period. During the period of Delhi Sultanate, 5 dynasties ruled. Is it clear? What were the name of the 5 dynasties? The slave dynasty, the Khilji dynasty, the Tughlaq dynasty, the Sayyid dynasty and the Lodi dynasty. These were the 5 different dynasties which have ruled over the Delhi Sultanate. Let me start with the slave dynasty. Slave dynasty, we have Muhammad Ghori. Okay, very famous person who defeated Prithvi Raj Chauhan at the second battle of Tarin. 2 battles of Tarin were there. First battle in which Prithvi Raj defeated Muhammad Ghori. Second battle of Tarin in which Muhammad Ghori defeated Prithvi Raj. Prithvi Raj, one of the brave and great ruler of India, who defeated Muhammad Ghori in the first battle of Tarin. But in the second battle of Tarin, Muhammad Ghori got succeeded in defeating Prithvi Raj. Is it clear? So now started with this. Muhammad Ghori defeated Prithvi Raj Chauhan in the second battle of Tarin in 1192. Very important year, 1192, in which Muhammad Ghori defeated Prithvi Raj Chauhan in the second battle of Tarin. Delhi passed into the hands of these rulers later. Then from Delhi, the Turkish rule was extended into Gangetic Plan and to Bihar and Bengal. They have captured Delhi, then they have captured Gangetic Plan, they reached to Bihar and they finally got success in capturing Bengal. Okay, then. The victorious Turk, before leaving for Afghanistan, Muhammad Ghori was never interested to live in India and to rule over India. So he has captured all the territories of India, he looted all the wealth of India, alright, and he finally decided to leave to Afghanistan. Before leaving to Afghanistan, he has appointed a general. The name of the general was Qutbuddin Aibak. He decided, and Qutbuddin Aibak was a slave. He was belonging to which category? He was a slave. So Muhammad Ghori has made Qutbuddin Aibak as the general of India before leaving to Afghanistan. And since then, India was gone in the hand of the slave dynasty. So who was the founder of the slave dynasty? Qutbuddin Aibak. Next, now we'll study about the Qutbuddin Aibak. He is regarded as the founder of the slave dynasty, the most important 9. The early ruler of this dynasty were called the Mamluk Sultan. Okay, so who actually founded the slave dynasty? Qutbuddin Aibak. Before the foundation of the slave dynasty, they were called as Mamluk Sultan. Then the word Mamluk is an Arabic word that means owned. Then since these sultans were earlier either the slaves of the Turk or were the sons of the slaves, they were called Mamluk Sultan. Is it clear? So before the formation of the slave dynasty, earlier they were called as Mamluk. Who were the Mamluk? The Mamluk were the slaves of the Turk. Who was the Turk? Muhammad Ghori. So the people of Mamluk were the slave of the Turk or were the sons of the slaves. And that's why they were called as Mamluk Sultan. Who were called as Mamluk Sultan? The slave dynasty rulers. Then, to complete his master's work, Qutbuddin Aibak embarked on a series of conquests and captured the fort of Kaliganjar in Bundelkhand and Ahilwara in Gujarat. 2 more territories are being captured by Qutbuddin Aibak. Then, besides being brave and capable military general, underline this line, brave and capable military general, Qutbuddin Aibak was a man of letters. He was having a knowledge of several subjects. Scholars like Hassan Nazmi and Fakhr adored his court. Because of liberal distribution of money, he earned the title of Lakh Baksh. Qutbuddin Aibak was given the title of Lakh Baksh because he was always distributing money to the people, and that's why he was called as Lakh Baksh. Qutbuddin Aibak only led the foundation of what? One of the source of information, that is Qutub Minar. That's why the name is called as Qutub Minar. The Minar which is founded by Qutbuddin Aibak. Okay, then later it was completed by Iltutmish. Then Qutbuddin Aibak's son Aram Shah had succeeded him in 1211. After Qutbuddin Aibak, Aram Shah became the ruler of the slave dynasty. Aram Shah was incapable ruler. He was not capable. Is it clear? So, Iltutmish has taken the advantage of weakness of Aram Shah and took the slave dynasty under its control. Is it clear? And Iltutmish discovered his son capable and became a sultan. He therefore nominated his daughter Razia as the successor. Is it clear? So what happened? Muhammad Ghori made Qutbuddin Aibak as the general of India, and Qutbuddin Aibak led the foundation of slave dynasty. But Qutbuddin Aibak was a brave general, but his son Aram Shah was a weak and incapable general. Advantage was taken by Iltutmish, and Iltutmish was the son-in-law, and he became the, you can say, the ruler of the Delhi Sultanate, the slave dynasty. The Iltutmish was having 3 children, 3 sons and 1 daughter, Razia. Iltutmish found his son incapable, so Iltutmish decided to make her son Razia as the ruler of the Delhi Sultanate. So Razia became the first woman ruler of Delhi Sultanate. But Razia got so much of opposition from the nobles, even her brothers. But she has got success in suppressing all of them, and she got finally become the Sultan of Delhi Sultanate. But it does not remain long. Her brother and nobles have done a conspiracy and killed Razia Sultan. Is it clear? And then there emerged a next dynasty that is called Khilji dynasty. We'll complete Khilji dynasty tomorrow. Okay? For today only this much. Thank you, children.